Hey guys, hi, welcome to my next video. This is Abhinav, and on this channel I talk about newcomer advice. So I am a newcomer. I came to Canada in 2019 January, and I'm living in the GTA since then. So in this video we're going to talk about how I got 8777 and how anyone could get 8777 in IELTS and apply for a PR. Before then, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be getting videos almost every week to help my fellow newcomer friends. So if we talk about the exam, it's divided between 4 parts: reading, listening, writing, and speaking. All the 4 parts are different, and you have to get 8777 to mostly apply for your PR. So 8 in listening and 7 in all the 3 modules. So personally, I sat in the exam couple of times to get the perfect score, but it took me a few tries, but in the end I was able to get 8777 and able to apply for my PR slash get my ITA in less than a week. So it's totally possible. Please don't lose hope. If you're not getting points, there are a few tips that I'm sharing in this video that you might use and able to get 8777. So when you're preparing, you have to look at a few things. So the trick is not that you just keep on preparing each and every day. So what you have to do is that look at the timeline. It's one of the most important things. The second thing is that you should know the format. You don't have to learn anything, but you have to know what the format is like. The third thing is that guided practice, or the correct way to practice. Understand what you have to practice about. The fourth and one of the most easiest thing is self-practice, and YouTube is the best coach for it. There are a lot of channels that help students to get good score in IELTS. I'll list a few below that I've used in the past, and I was able to learn a lot from those channels. So a little bit about the exam. Exam is roughly 3.5 hours, out of which 30 minutes is spent on speaking, around 40 minutes on listening, and an hour each on reading and writing. So what happens normally is that you do your listening as soon as you start, then you go to reading, and then you go to writing. And speaking is mostly on the same day after a couple of hours, or sometimes after a few days, depends on the schedule that is available. So on listening, you get 30 minutes to listen to the tape and write your answers, 10 minutes to move your answers to the answer sheet. I know this is basic, but I want to put it there so that no one forgets it. So how I prepared for my listening is that I did all the exams that Cambridge uploaded. I'll list the channel in the description box below. So the best thing is that do all the Cambridge exams with 1.5 or 1.25 speed depending on your skills. So I did with 1.25 because that was better for me, and used to complete all the exams. Roughly, I used to do 2 to 3 exams a day so that I get a hang of it. And by the time I had my exam, I was able to get 38 to 36 marks without any problem. That was my average, 36 to 38. And in the real exam, I scored full 9. So listening, according to me, is one of the most easiest module. You can score a lot. So even if you don't get 9, you can easily get 8 or 8.5. So once we're done with listening, the next thing that you'll notice, you have to start with your reading passages. So in general reading, what happens is that you get 3 to 4 passages maximum. So starting from the most easiest one to the most difficult one. Every teacher says that you have to spend around 15 minutes per passage. But I think that doesn't make sense because the first one that you see is the most easiest and the last one that you see is the most hardest. So what I did was that I aimed for 10 minutes per passage for the first 2 passages and spent 20 minutes each for the remaining 2. So this strategy worked for me. I'm not sure if this will work for you as well, but this is what I recommend. So similar to listening, the best way to practice for reading passage is to follow Cambridge exams. So Cambridge books, Cambridge exams, whatever you can find anywhere, the best thing would be to follow them. So the benefit with listening is that all the answers are available in front of you. You just have to find them with concentration. So I personally had problem with true false not given section. So I figured that out when I was doing my reading practice. Every time I was stuck in true false not given, and true false not given were bringing my score down. So what I did was that I concentrated on the specific thing that I was not good at until I was good at that. So whenever you're practicing, please just don't start practicing on anything that you do. So the trick is that not just practice anything that is in front of you. Just practice what you're not good at. So the 2 channels on YouTube that I used to practice my reading, listening, writing and all the skills were E2 Learning and IELTS List. I list both the channels below. They're both free with a paid membership as well, but I didn't use it. I used the free option and I was able to crack my IELTS exam. So if you go to each of their channels, you'll see that they talk about each module one by one in separate videos. So let's say I was not good at true, false, not given. I went to IELTS List and saw everything that she was talking about, true, false, not giving questions in general IELTS. So you learn from them, you understand what they're trying to say, and then try to mimic the same thing in your test, in your practice tests. So learn how to fix your problem and then practice the same thing until you succeed. So the third exam is the writing exam, and I personally was stuck at 6.5 from past couple of months, but I didn't lose my hope and I practiced a lot and tried to improve my handwriting because I don't have a good handwriting. practice my handwriting as more as possible until I scored an even 7. This is my personal understanding, but what I think is that if you have a bad handwriting, the examiner might not even understand what you're trying to say. And if you have bad handwriting, it won't make sense from them to figure out what you're trying to make them understand and then mark you. So I'd say good handwriting gets a plus for sure. And the second thing is a proper format. So as far as I remember, there are 7 to 9 different types of essay formats in task 2 of writing that has the maximum weightage. So each of the essays have different formats. For example, you're attempting advantages and disadvantages essay, but you're only writing one advantage and one disadvantage. You lose score for it. So how I learned this was that I followed a video by E2 Learning. I think it's a 30-minute video. I'll try to list it below. So the writing section has two main parts, starting with an informal letter and going into the essay. Informal letters are not that hard. They're one of the easiest sections that I think, because you don't have to write a lot and it takes like 10 to 15 minutes tops. And essay takes a lot of time because you have to write at least 250 to 300 words. So if you don't write ample words, the marks are deducted from your overall score. So please make sure you at least write 250 words, and there are no limit on sheets. So if you think that you don't have enough space, you can ask for n number of sheets that you want. So personally what I did was that I don't have a good handwriting, so I was keeping a lot of space in between my words. I wanted to make sure that whoever is checking my exam can easily read it. And I think I personally took 3 extra sheets to write 250 to 300 words. So take all the sheets that you want and make sure you write as clean as possible. One more alternate that a lot of people have started doing is that a computerized test. So IELTS has started computerized tests a few years ago in which you can do all the sections, reading, listening, writing, on a computer. The thing that I don't like about a computerized test is that you're not able to mark anything specifically on a reading section. You surely have an option to highlight everything you want, but if you have a handwritten note, I think personally that's easy for me to figure out when you have to go to the back and find a different answer or find a specific answer. So I didn't go with a computerized exam, but I went with a paper offline exam. That was easy for me. The process could be different for you, and maybe that's easy for you. So depending on your need and depending on your skills, you might pick a computerized exam or pick a handwritten offline exam. I wish there was an option that in which you can only give your writing exam on a computer and other 2 exams on a paper, but no, that's not possible. All exams are fully computerized or fully offline. The last thing that we have on the list is a speaking exam. So I've not seen a lot of people having problems with the speaking exam, but it depends. So speaking, what you can do is that be confident. That is one of the important things. Make sure you have presence of mind. So no one cares if the things that you're saying in the exam are incorrect. So the speaking exam, it doesn't make a difference if your things you're saying are factual or it doesn't make sense. But whatever you're saying, you have to make sure you use good vocab, a good sentence formation, and you have a good presence of mind. So there are no points that are deducted based on wrong answers. Anything that you say would be good for you, but don't stop talking in the middle of the interview. Just keep on saying whatever comes to your mind, but make sure everything that you're saying follows an English pattern and it's not gibberish that you're saying. So make sure your sentence formation is correct and you're confident on what you're saying. The way you can practice speaking is that you can talk to your friends in English, or if that is hard and you don't have a lot of friends who would be able to help you, you can always hire a tutor who would practice with you. So a speaking exam takes roughly 10 to 15 minutes. One more thing that you can do is that watch past or mock interviews on YouTube. A lot of YouTube channels have interviews. What you can do is that go to those channels and watch interviews that they have prepared for your understanding and get a hang of it. One thing that people have problem in speaking is the 1 minute topic that you have to speak on. So I'd say it's not that hard. What you can do is that the easy trick is they give you 1 minute to prepare and then 1 to 2 minutes to talk about it. In the first 1 minute, please don't write full sentences in your notes. What you can do is that write specific bullet points. So let's say they have a topic of the best place that you visited. Please don't write, I have visited X and X place in X and X year, and this was special because I visited with my family. What you can write is that name of the place, ABC, when did I visit, hyphen, visited 2010, hyphen, with family, hyphen, was birthday, hyphen, 10-day trip. So when you start talking about it, you can go from one step to the other. So there's also a format that I followed for speaking. I listed below in the description as well. And what happened in this one is that the author asked me to split my answer into 3 different parts, that is past, present, and future. So let's say, look at the same example, the trip example, and you split it in 3 different parts. What you can say is that the trip that I want to talk about happened in 2010. That was my past experience, and you explain all the 4 steps in this. After these 4 steps are done, you can go to the present time. So this is the trip that I recently took and talk everything about it. And the third thing that you can talk is that this is one of the trips that I want to take in the future and talk 4 points about it. There's no chance that you won't be able to speak for 2 minutes if you talk about the past, present, and future. And one thing, 4 points, and you're done for sure. So this is the strategies I use and worked really well for me. I was able to score 8.5 in speaking. I think that was all I wanted. Before closing this video, I say is that don't just blindly start practicing, but practice in the right direction. Make sure you practice in the proper way and the things that you need to practice in. Don't just waste time on practicing on each and everything. That's it for this one, guys. See you in the next one.